We have some brave Kerbals driving. They're driving to the Kerbal Space Center. They're delivering some humanitarian supplies. Yes, these brave Kerbals are risking MechJeb attack to deliver humanitarian supplies to Kerbals in need. It's a very noble cause. Of course, we need these supplies. MechJeb are closing in on the Kerbal Space Center, and these guys, risking life and limb to deliver them. So, I think they are true war heroes, and I hope they get the supplies to us because we need them. These humanitarian aid supplies. MechJeb. Okay, so we have 3 MechJeb tanks who've just intercepted our convoy and killed our beloved Kerbals. We need to stop them. How are we going to do this? Well, I think let's try a bomber. So today we're going to be making a bomb. We're going to base it off of the B-2, the B-2 Spirit. It seems the best, well, it's not maybe the best option, but it's definitely a cool option. So the B-2 Spirit is, originally it was designed as a, it's a stealth bomber with, well, a real focus around its nuclear capability. It can take, a nuclear weapon, it can penetrate enemy radar, and it can go drop it. So putting in the bomb bay here, the B-2 Spirit has up to 40,000 pounds, I think, of capacity, which, for those of you who aren't in Myanmar, Liberia, or the United States of America, is about 18 metric tons, so just over. And that's its max load. So I think we've got, how many we've got? About, 16 or 18 500-pound bombs, so we're just less than a quarter of that. And considering Kerbals operate on about a quarter scale, generally, I mean, Kerbin is about quarter scale Earth, I think. I think, that's the right amount of payload to say that this is a B-2 equivalent. Now, of course, the B-2 was originally designed with the nuclear capability in mind. However, kind of the Cold War ended, and then, the US military were like, oh, well, what are we going to do with this? So eventually it just became a strategic bomber. Able to carry, a lot of munitions, drop them in a carpet bombing run, and then carpet bombing became sort of obsolete when people found, oh, well, you could just drop a bomb that actually hits the target, like a smart bomb, and it was probably better than just dumping munitions all over the place. So what we're going for here is, unfortunately, the carpet bombing routine, because we don't have any smart bombs. So what we're going to be doing is just dropping as much ordnance on top of those MechJeb tanks as possible to take them out. Hopefully it'll work. I mean, if we get a close hit, then, should be pretty reliable, but the thing is going to be making sure we actually get a hit. So the configuration of the B-2 is, rather unique. It's a flying wing design, which of course means it's fairly efficient, blah blah blah, in terms of its fuel efficiency, etc. But it also means it's got a very low radar cross section, and because it's all sort of angular curves and so on, it really doesn't reflect much radar back, in addition to the fact it's got this lovely coating which, absorbs the radar waves, etc. However, in Kerbal Space Program, we don't really have that, so I'm just going to try building this flying wing design. And now the thing is, because it doesn't have a vertical stabilizer, so, it don't have a tail fin or something, that actually causes some problems, because how are you going to get side-to-side motion? Well, we can't really, so I've come up with a cunning plan for that, but it's going to be difficult. So as you can see here, I've put on the side things in addition to the central bomb bay. Now the B-2 actually has 2 bomb bays, but for this I'm going with 1 central bomb bay, and then I'm getting fuel in the side tanks, because Kerbal Space Program works better that way. Fuel in the side tanks works better than trying to put fuel in the center tank. So we're using adjustable landing gear from B9 here, not B9, sorry, Bahamuto. The adjustable landing gear I absolutely love. And I think we just need to put in these control surfaces. There we go. Yeah. Now, it does have a lot of engines there and a lot of intakes. In fact, the B-2 actually does have 4 engines, but they're kind of sort of hidden under their shrouds. And, it looks a bit different, but I think it looks similar enough that we can count it as a decent-ish replica. especially considering it's carrying, you know, a crap ton of explosives. So let's put the action groups in. I'm using Action Group Extended for this. It allows me to really, you know, name them, see them. I can then sort of pull up the naming scheme and I can go, okay, I remember what that button does, rather than, you know, when you create an object in Kerbal Space Program, you put all these action groups on it, and then you go to it in flight and you're like, okay, I can't remember which button deploys the solar panels, and then you accidentally stage or something by pressing a button. Yeah. Also, we're putting on the Vanguard Parachute Ejection Module, because this is going to be a test flight. Going to be testing out our B-2 bomber. Just a quick test flight over the sea, and we're not going anywhere. Now I know what this is, it's because the engines are actually embedded in the wing, and I think the output of the engine is sitting in the middle of the object, and so Kerbal Space Program goes, yeah, you're just taking an object rather than venting around it. So I'm trying to figure out how we can do the engines. Now, of course, the engines on the B-2 are above the wing. We don't really have that option, because if we put engines above the wing, it would push us around because our central mass is below them, and it would basically make us, you know, pitch downwards. I'm trying to round it, but I don't think it's going to work, because we'd have to... Basically, you want the thrust vector going through the center of mass. If we put the engines above the wing, it's not going to happen. So somehow we need to make it even. Now, luckily, this B-2 bomber is actually only costing us about 50 Kerbal bucks, whereas in reality, they cost about $1 billion each. That's not the flyaway cost. Flyaway cost, by the way, is the cost to produce it. This is the cost factoring in, you know, the R&D that went into it, because about $45 billion went into developing the B-2. So there we go. I've got engines above and below the wing by just doing what we did originally, but rotating it. It looks a bit derpy, but it'll work, and it's close enough. I mean, at the end of the day, we do need the engine to actually sort of be symmetrical so that we don't end up pitching. And there we go. Not quite as good looking as the first one. I preferred the first one, but it'll do. We do need to respond to these tanks as soon as possible. Alright, let's see if we can take off. Now, an interesting note about the B-2 is it actually had two predecessors that were just never really went into production or whatever. Two concepts. Basically, because it was designed to go fly over the Soviet Union in the Cold War and drop a nuclear bomb by penetrating the radar, that's really where it came in, but it was fairly expensive for its stealth and so on. But before it, there were two other options. There was the B-70, which was designed to fly over high and avoid, you know, interception by just flying really high. However, the Soviet Union and, in general, the sort of the development of surface-to-air missiles that could reach that height kind of knocked that idea down. Then they came up with the idea of the B-1, which would be like a really low-flying thing, could fly under radar and so on, and avoid interception that way. However, that came up to the issue that look down, shoot down, like tech capabilities were enabled for a lot of fighters. Those sorts of technology became available. Ooh, let's try and drop the bombs. And you can see that we're actually getting sparks. Now, that's because I've got collision effects on, which causes, like, these spark effects, which are pretty awesome, and a number of other things. When, like, objects hit, what's happening is the bombs are slowing down as soon as they are detached from the bomb bay, and they are rubbing against the back wall and the slide that they've got them on, like those structural panels. So it's causing them to give off, like, sparks and stuff. It looks cool, but I'm just hoping that we don't accidentally detonate them or something in the bomb bay, because we'd probably die instantly. I don't know if we get a chance to eject on that one. That went well. By the way, look down, shoot down if you're interested, is fighters have radar, but the radar bounces below them and you can't really see anything in ground scatter because it all comes back up and you get this sort of mass. However, look down ability was the ability to really filter through that, and then shoot down was the ability for missiles to, you know, shoot at something that would otherwise be lost in the ground scatter. Right? So we're going to try yawing, and, well, this is difficult in the B-2. Now, the B-2, because it doesn't have a vertical fin of any kind, no vertical stabilizers, doesn't really yaw traditionally. What it does is it uses, or at least to a large part, uses vector thrust from its engines. So, you know, we lessen the thrust on one engine, and we thrust with the other engine slightly harder, and it'll allow us to turn. And we're going to try this. So I've set this up using the throttle. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Davin's throttle control. And you see we're turning. Now, I've got to be very careful because that could cause us just to fall out of the air very easily. I'm glad I'm not using fire right now. But I think we have this. So I'm just trying to make sure we roll with it. But it's actually working rather well. I thought we were going to die. I didn't think this was going to be quite that simple. Ooh, lovely wispy cloud. Okay, let's just lessen our throttle a little bit. We're going to go in for a landing. This is going to be the test run of everything. So we've dropped bombs, we've taken off. We're going to do a landing as well. And then, you know, we'll do the real run. So let's speed times up a bit because, you know, this is just going to be a bit slow. I do love those clouds. Right, now you see our velocity vector there. That little circle is where we're going. Whereas the little, I don't know what you call a line, with a little dip in the middle, that's our heading, where we're pointed. But our actual velocity vector is, of course, lagging behind that. So, just trying to lose a bit of height here. We've got the gears down. But you can see now we've got this small issue that the plane wants to sort of fly sideways. And I think that's a quirk of Kerbal Space Program's physics. Oop, oop, come on, come on. But we're getting this sort of sideways flight, in effect, and it's very weird. I think I have to put the thrust on a little bit, because without it, I think we're just going sideways. So just giving us a kick in the rear, really, just make sure we're going forward as opposed to sideways, because I don't think that would work for us somehow. I'm pretty sure that would result in A, missing the runway, and B, probably death. Okay, come on. Come on. We're a little bit high, and we're a little bit pointing the wrong way. And a little bit left as well, so not great. Come on. Losing a lot of runway here. I think we'll be fine. We're going very, very slow. It's a great thing about flying wing. Come on. Oh, there we go. And that's the other thing that collision effects does. Lovely. So, let's go for it. Dunnard Dilfrey are back, and they're going to be doing their badassness, and they're going to try and, bomb some MechJeb ships. Now, I have done one small change. I've put some things on the wing. I'll see those in a second. That'll help us landing. So, effectively, we can go in nice and fast. Now, there is a little gap there, actually, looking at those two wings. There's a little bit where they're not strutted together. I probably should fix that at some point, but I think we'll be fine. So, this is sped up as well, of course. You can probably notice by the higher-pitched engine sounds. Just because it's going to be a long journey, so... Now, a little bit of a turn, and we should be able to basically go off about this angle, maybe a bit more turn. No, I think we're probably okay. We'll just go off this, get a bit of height, should make our flight a bit quicker, more efficient, and then we'll dip down when we get nearer the target. In fact, the B-2 was actually designed for very high flight, and then at the last minute after its sort of, its nuclear capability became obsolete because of the sort of the Soviet Union going, then it kind of got changed to be able to fly low. Okay, so let's try out these things. I've added air brakes, so the air brakes will allow us to slow down. Let's give them a little bit of a try. And which number is it? That one. Whoa! Oh, balls. Where's the cockpit? I changed the root part in the VAB so that I could place bits better, but I don't know where the cockpit is. I can't find it. I think we might just have to write this one off at a loss and send out the search and rescue. That's a lot of different parts. Okay, so we're back. This time we've got Deanie and Chuck. Unfortunately, we couldn't find Dunnard and Dilfrey. They are the first losses of the war, it seems, unfortunately. Hopefully we can get this shot going. So I've gone round over the sea and I'm coming in nice and low. Maybe a bit too low. About 430 meters is a little bit worrying, that height. So I've got the load range for BD Armory set at about 10,000 meters. So we should get physics at a decent range. So we shouldn't just end up dropping bombs and flying out of range before the bombs hit. Ooh, here we go. Loading. Loading. The lag. Come on. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Now we're getting a lot less frames. I think we're getting about 10 FPS or something. I'm sorry about that. Alright, let's select the weapon. There we go. We've got the Mark 82s. So each of those is a 500-pound bomb. So if we land it near enough, we should be good. Now, of course, in the last version of BD Armory, there was a debuff to damage because, well, everything was getting killed fairly easily. Planes were just evaporating to anti-aircraft fire was a big issue. So, and if you dropped a bomb anywhere near anything, it exploded. So I think we'll have to make sure these bombs are as close as we can. Now, we do have the length issue. Because we're carpet bombing, right? If our line of carpet bombing goes over them, we should destroy them. Now, the one thing I'm worried about is the fact that if you press the action group over and over and over again, it has a sort of a firing delay. You can't, drop all your bombs really quickly by tapping it all really quickly. But let's speed this up. And I'm just hoping that we manage to get this line of bombs directly over the top of the target. There are 3 tanks, so I hope we've got a good chance. Here we go. Just need to pull up a little bit. We are going below 300 meters. And I don't really want to get blown up by my own bombs. That would be kind of difficult to explain. Oh yeah, we lost the second B-2 prototype. Right, let's start dropping bombs. Come on, fire, fire, fire. All the bombs. It looks like we're just a little to the left, but I think we're still good. I think we actually got one very close to that one. Keep firing. I'm just going to keep firing off the rest of the bombs now. We're missing with the rest of them, but we should just get rid of the payload so that we're symmetrical. Okay, the explosion's going off. We've got 3 bombs left. Oh, we are low. We need to pull up or we're going to get injured. Okay, I can't see any crazy amounts of damage. Oh, we're pulling up really hard. I don't know. Yeah, it's ending. Like, I was about to say, it's acting weirdly now that we've got the payload gone. But we flew it before on the test run without a payload, because we dropped all the payload at sea and then we flew it back to base successfully. But it's acting fairly weird right now. It's really fluid? Not fluid's not the right word. Floaty. The controls are floaty. I'm pulling up and it's sort of wandering upwards. Ooh, bomb. Ooh, bomb. Ooh, bomb. Let's look at the tanks. I want to find out the tanks. Okay, that's the humanitarian aid. Ooh, Kerbal. Tank. That front tank has got moved, but they're not damaged. It doesn't look like they've got any damage. Oh no, that's a complete failure for us. No damage to the tanks. I swear we got really close. That tank that was in the lead looks like it actually jumped backwards about 10, 12 meters though. Maybe actually more than that. Maybe about 16 or something. But yeah, we seem to have jumped that tank, but no damage to it. Oh, wow. We really are floating at the moment. I'm trying to pull down, but... Oh, so was that a Kerbal there? Yeah, that was a Kerbal went past. Did one of them survive? Huh. Let's look. What's over? Come on. We're in load range, so let's have a quick look again. Bilby Kerman's alive. I guess we have to save Bilby now. I didn't think anyone survived that. That was like an almost direct hit. There were 2 direct hits from shells. Well, I guess we're going to have to save Bilby next time. I'm glad we didn't kill Bilby accidentally with our bombing run, but we're going to have to, I don't know, deliver our audience a bit more carefully next time. So, you know, maybe I don't know. What should we go for? Anyway, if you've enjoyed today's episode of WWK3, then, you know, like. And if you're not subscribed, well, consider subscribing to see more. Now, our B-2 was not successful. I think that first round goes to MechJeb, unfortunately. Ugh. I don't like losing the first round. It leaves a sour taste in my mouth. We should win the first round. Sad face. Oh well. Stay shiny, everybody. Okay, I'm having real issues right now. I was trying to set the plane down, and we're having issues. Like, we were floating, we're going sideways. My up and down was exaggerated to ridiculous extremes. I think we almost did a loop at one stage. So I was like, you know, let's just set down. This plane is a plane. Actually, it's bumpy. It's not a plane. It's bumpy. But we're flying at an angle here, and I was just trying to set her down. She's just started turning. She started turning, and I don't have my throttle control set up because I changed the throttle control to be, oh, we're turning more. I changed it so that I could just use the normal throttle instead of the Davin throttle control, so I could just fly in a line. But now it looks like we might be regretting that. Come on, turn, turn, turn. It's not working. It's not working. I just hope we can turn when we hit the ground. Oh no, we turned too hard. Mayday! Mayday! Kerbal down, eject. Oh wait, the cockpit's gone on. I'm glad we got rid of, whoa, all of our ordnance. Well, we survived. But we lost two B-2s. Oh. Balls.